Hello, everybody. How's it going? We're going to be doing more of these electrical 101 type videos, going over some really basic stuff. And we're going to be talking about this GFCI install. Now, there's quite a few things wrong with this just by glancing at this. This does appear to be a standard GFCI. This, in my opinion, would need to be a weatherproof or weather resistant GFCI. Just based on the background alone, it looks like this is going to be in a kitchen or in a bathroom. Maybe even a mudroom or laundry room. Usually those are very wet locations in the house, damp locations, so you definitely want to have that. I think I've seen enough GFCIs to know that this is a standard one. I'm almost certain of it, but in the case that it's not a big deal. However, this thing is installed incorrectly. There's two things that really stick out. One, where's the ground wire? This could be an older home, an older remodel, and that's certainly possible that there might not be a ground present at the moment. Or it could be, hidden behind the switch. There's just not a lot going on here. However, we do know 100% that this GFCI outlet or receptacle is definitely installed incorrectly. I'm going to show you guys in a moment how to install this correctly. And so you have this black jumper cable. This black jumper cable right here. This is incredibly problematic. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight exactly where the jumper cable is. As you can tell, it's right next to the neutral wire. So the neutral wires are generally connected on receptacles or outlets where there's a silver screw. You're usually never going to see a black wire and a neutral wire right next to each other sharing a silver terminal, especially connected to a jumper. No, this is just a huge no. This is a huge red flag. It's also likely that this is not even installed correctly. Again, I'm going to show you how to install this correctly. And again, look at this. Where's the ground? Where's the ground? Yeah, if you were to buy a brand new GFCI outlet, doesn't matter what kind, from Leviton, you pick it up at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever the case may be, and you're never gonna see them instruct you to make a jumper. Yeah, they're gonna to ground it. They're gonna be like, "Hey, go find the ground wire and connect it accordingly." Like I said, I circled that switch. It could be back there. There could be two grounds to that switch. Again, I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to assume things, but I'm explaining to you what the problems are here. Yeah, this doesn't appear to be done well. If I were to see somebody, one of my techs, one of my apprentices, one of my electricians do something like this, they would be scolded. They would be mocked relentlessly. And yeah, it's back to the drawing board. Gonna have to daddy up on them because that's just not right. Unbelievable. I don't even understand where they would get the idea to do this. Who would compel them to do this? Is it just something they thought on their own? Yeah, don't ever do this, you guys. Again, black and neutral, sharing a silver terminal, and then jumping it to the ground. Insanity. So let's just go ahead and recap really quick what we talked about today. So the issues. Number one, there's no ground. And that's a problem. There are ways to get around that. I'm not going to go over it in this video. So number two, needless jumper. That jumper is just not necessary, you guys. And of course, the third problem, maybe it's as a standard. You know what? No. Hang on, let me go ahead and delete that. What I meant to write is this needs to be a weatherproof GFCI. So these are the three main issues that I've encountered. Just by glancing at this, you guys, just by glancing at this, again, we can get more in depth, but there's too many variables that are unknown, but we do know 100% certain that it was installed incorrectly. So now it's time to show you how to install this right, okay? So this is a standard GFCI outlet. This is what you are going to see. If you pull out a GFCI in your home, you're usually going to encounter a GFCI outlet with 4 wires connected to it, and depending on the location, it should be weatherproof. It should be weather resistant. And it might be difficult for you to read, but it states very clearly that at the top of this outlet, notice, do not install in wet or damp locations. For damp or wet locations, use weather resistant devices, NEC, blah, 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 blah. Very, very straightforward. So on the right hand side, we got silver terminals. That's where your neutrals are going to go on. Yeah, on the right hand side, the neutrals, the silver terminals. That's right. And on the left hand side, we got the gold terminals. That's going to be for the black wires, the hot. But you got to be a little careful. And at the bottom, we have a ground screw. It's kind of hidden, so I went ahead and labeled it. And we got our legend up here at the top right. So the black is the hot / line wire. The yellow, which is usually white, that's going to represent the neutral, and then green is ground. So yeah, we got to install this, you guys. I'm going to show you how to install this properly. So on the right hand side, we have the home run or line. Think of line as like power line right there. Okay, think of line as like power line. You know, this is our line from the home, that sort of thing. It's not very scientific, but it's just a good way to think about it. So the home run or the main line, that's going to go at the top right there. In the neutral, that is, you know, within that sleeve from the home run, they're going to be connected. Oh, let me go ahead and restart that. They're going to be connected adjacent to each other. Everything is labeled very clearly. I just wrote it in baby blue, so it's just easier to see. But on the right-hand side where it says white, it says white / blanca, which is, I think, white in Spanish. And then on the left-hand side, it says hot or black. So from the home run, the black wire is going to be connected to the gold terminal on the left-hand side where it says hot. Just like that. Very, very simple. The neutral, same thing. They're going to be adjacent to each other. This is coming from the line, from the main home run. Generally, this is generally what it will look like. Now, the ground, yes, generally you would want to go ahead and do this, do the ground first, connect the grounds first. But we're going to do that last, only for demonstration purposes. But in the real world, you would connect the ground first. All right. So the load, think of load as like payload. You're delivering a load, power load, and it's going to other devices. And again, by the way, all these wires here, they're all 12 gauge. So we got 12-2, so we got a neutral and a black, and of course a ground. So we're going to have to connect these. And they connect exactly the same way, but they're going to be connected at the bottom of this GFCI receptacle, okay? And right where it says load, and again, they're going to be installed adjacent to each other. You know, again, on the white side, you're going to have a silver terminal, and on the left side where it says hot, you're going to have a gold terminal. Okay, so you can't get it wrong. You can't get it wrong. And it's very important not to get, you know, the load or the home run side mixed up, because then you're going to have issues with the GFCI working or functioning properly. All right, so again, the black cable or the black wire, I apologize, is going to connect to the gold terminal on the load side, and then the neutral is going to connect to the silver terminal on the load side, and they're going to be directly adjacent to each other. Very simple. Now let's go ahead and talk about this ground here. We're going to go ahead and highlight it just because I know it's a little difficult to see, and we're going to use a little pigtail. We're going to use a little pigtail, and we're going to connect both of the grounds from the home run and also from the load side. So there's a little pigtail. So we're going to have 3 ground wires, generally bare wires. Give me one moment. Somebody just texted me. Okay, so yeah, we got these 2 ground wires, and from the load side and the home side, and they're both connected to the pigtail. And we're gonna use an ideal push-in connector. I personally like to use them. The GFCI outlet, it's a little bit chunky. It's a little bit bigger than a standard receptacle or outlet. It's wired a little bit differently. There's just a lot going on in the plastic box, and yeah, so you don't got a lot of real estate to work with. So I like those ideal push-in connectors. It just makes things, you know, just work so much better and fit so much better, and it just makes life easier. So let's just go ahead and do a quick recap. So again, on the left-hand side where you see the hot or black listed clearly on the GFCI receptacle, you're gonna have gold terminals, and that is where your line and your load wires are connected. They're generally gonna be black. And then on the right-hand side, you're going to have the white wires, which are labeled yellow for demonstration purposes. They're going to be connected to the silver terminals. Just a quick recap, you guys. And yeah, I mean, this is it. This is how you would install most of these GFCI receptacles in a home. It's a pretty straightforward process. And yeah, you know, like, just looking back at this, I mean, you can clearly tell that something is wrong. Just by looking at it, you know, with the jumper, like, this is not ideal. This is not good. Again, the ground can be installed or be behind this switch. I don't know how likely that is. They could not even be done yet. But even if they're not done yet, it is still blatantly done wrong. They just did this wrong. They failed miserably. Again, they have to go back to the drawing board. If I saw anybody install this GFCI this way. Now, this is how it's done properly, you guys. This is how it's done properly. And, you know, GFCIs can be kind of scary because they look different. They're a lot bigger. You know, they got more wires, and, you know, a lot of people just don't really understand what's going on or understand how these things function. But if you were to install this the way that I showed the beginning of the video, it would likely result in like an open ground fault. I'm pretty sure that that's what would happen. This is pathetic, guys. What was displayed earlier. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Leave a comment, subscribe. This content is free, so please support the channel. Thank you. Peace out.